Well, hello. Okay, in this vlog, I'm completing the square. It's the second in the series. Now, we have several examples. The first vlog we talked about, we're reminding ourselves what perfect squares really meant. And perfect trinomials, we've covered that in previous vlogs, special products. That was the name of the vlog, I believe, in previous vlogs. And now, special products and perfect square trinomials. So we have parentheses x plus 5 squared, parentheses x minus 5 squared. Now this x squared plus 22x plus this line. The goal is to find the right number, so this is a perfect square. So the answer, will have an answer of x plus something, the whole thing squared. Okay, watch. So if that's our pattern, now 22 has already been doubled in our model. So take half of that. 22 divided by 2 is 11. Now, 11 now what this is now 11 squared is 120, 123, 120, excuse me, 121. 121? Wait a minute here. What this means is 11 squared is 121. And now, if you factor this, the answer is going to be x plus 11 parentheses squared. So now this is proof. 11x plus 11x is 22x. And now we know how to do this, how to complete the square. We'll do it again with number 2. X squared minus 18x minus the negative 18x. That means we're going to have a negative in our parentheses. 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. Now, so the answer is x minus 9 parentheses squared, because negative 9x and negative 9x is negative 18x. That's a middle term. Now, number 3, x squared plus 6x plus 7 equals 0. Now we're going to solve a quadratic by completing the square. Now, this one is not a perfect square as it's written, and even worse, you can't even factor this one. It's prime. So now, we're kind of stuck. What do we do now? We have another way to talk about this to complete the square. Now, x squared, and when we solve this, we'll have a square root in our answer. And that'll happen most often with this kind of method. If we could factor it, we wouldn't have a square root in the answer, but now we can't factor it. So it's going to be a square root answer. Plus 7, we're going to subtract 7 both sides, and we're going to see what happens. Now, what we need, think to yourself, wait a minute, why do we have this little dash here? Remember, in our previous vlogs, using the square root property, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. This is similar. So we have x squared plus 6x. Right now, it's not ready to take the square root yet. It's not a perfect square. I help it become a perfect square. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Now, remember our rule for solving equations. What you do to the left, you gotta do it to the right. Gotta keep it balanced. If you add 9 over here, you gotta add 9 over there. Okay, now x squared plus 6x plus 9, that's a perfect square trinomial. There's an answer for this. It's parentheses x plus 3 close parentheses squared. Now, this should look like something we've seen before. We're going to square root both sides of this equation and factor this and see what happens, or solve it. So now, so far, x plus 3 equals the positive and negative square root of 2. Remember, we have two answers now. So now, x plus 3, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides and see what happens. Okay, now for this example, again, I want to complete the square. I want to use the square root property to figure out an answer as well. X squared plus 4x. I'm going to add the dash there, and then I'm not going to move the 8 over. I'm not going to subtract 8 from both sides. 8 wouldn't make it a perfect square. So watch what happens. Four divided by 2, the answer is 2. 2 squared is 4. Okay, now, as we worked it through, we're ready to use the square root now. Take the square root of both sides, and we'll see what the answer is. Now, if we're working on the square root, we've been working on those and on simplifying them. You should see 12 and know that it can be split up into square root of 4 times square root of 3. Square root of 4 is 2 times square root of 3. Well, okay, that's it for the completing the square.